Today, we're diving into a conversation with a creator who has made a name for herself in the fragrance community. Whether you know her for her decisive hot takes or the best frag talk giveaways on TikTok, you certainly know her. With her incredibly popular TikTok account, Scenttakes, aka Michelle, has shared her love for fragrance with millions, and that the right fragrance is about more than just smelling good. It's about confidence, mood, and self-expression. Get ready to hear the story behind the account, her fragrance philosophy, and maybe even a few secret tips for finding your signature scent. I'm thrilled today to have Scenttakes on.
Hi guys. That's funny. I love that. Thank you so much. That's such a nice introduction.
Okay, let's jump right into it. When you made your symphony video, did you think that it was going to go as crazy as it did?
No. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Had I known, I might have made it, but I don't think I would have posted it because it was a little bit like tongue in cheek and a little bit sort of satire. I mean, I was trying to be somewhat funny, and obviously I'm British, and it's a little bit of my British humor, kind of like making fun of people is funny in England. In America, making fun of people is super offensive. So I didn't really, the nuances of the video, I wasn't trying to make fun of anybody. I genuinely did feel quite strongly that this is a fragrance which was being told is the same, and I don't think it is the same, but I'm also a bit defensive of that particular perfume. If anybody didn't see the video, which I'm sure not, hopefully you didn't all see the video, I kind of made a video saying that a lot of content creators were being misleading in their promoting this one perfume, saying it was the same as Symphony, and I didn't think it was the same. But I didn't want to ruffle feathers, and I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, and there were certain content creators that got really mad at me. And I don't actually know if we are even friends anymore, even though it wasn't targeted at anyone in particular. It was more a general statement about saying, this is the same as this. This smells identical, because it doesn't. They just don't. Quite often, schmooks aren't even supposed to smell exactly the same. They're supposed to be an interpretation. And I just felt like I needed to say something out loud about, like, it's good, or it's a 9 out of 10, or it's almost the same. But when people start saying it's a 1 for 1, and it's not, it just riles me up. Also, like I said at the beginning, I am really sensitive about Symphony because it's one of my favorite perfumes. So I think I kind of went a little bit overboard, but I don't regret it. Would I do it again? Probably not.
Because you made the video and then you got on a flight to another country.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was going, and I can't remember even what it was that really set me off. There's this one content creator who's not a super well-known content creator who had made a video on it, and I was kind of like, he didn't even have Symphony. And I'm not going to say who it was. He doesn't own Symphony. He doesn't have Symphony. He's like, oh, it's exactly the same. You guys should go get it. And I was kind of like, you don't actually have the original, so please don't tell me this. And then I got off the plane, and oh my God, I got so many messages. I will say though, I got a lot of people who are really supportive as well, and a lot of people who are kind of sick to death about hearing about dupes and schmoops, and like everything is, this, especially about Louis Vuitton fragrances. And I think some people were kind of just bored with it, and they were kind of like ready for someone to be like, let's just move on from this topic and stop saying things that, I don't know. I'm not saying I was right. I don't think I was necessarily right to ruffle as many feathers as I did, but the fact that I did ruffle so many feathers is interesting. People got upset, and I think sometimes that says something.
Listen, the dupe conversation, I'm like,
Well, you have a strong opinion on this too, not just in fragrance in general. Like, there's lots of fakes of lots of things. And I know
from a fashion background, it's like,
yeah.
I was just kind of like, I understand why they exist, but it's like the part of me that's like, I can't support it. Just from that because I come from the fashion background, it's just like, I can't support it.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I can support the fact that not everybody can or wants to spend over $400, $300 on a bottle of perfume. And I think there should be fragrances which you can have that are accessible to people. So I'm not against it, What I am against is when people say it's the same. I'm like, well, it's not. It's just not. Like, it's an incredible interpretation. It's a good, what's the word? Alternative. But, you know, if a Chanel bag is not real, then it's not a Chanel bag. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't want to upset people all over again. But especially the guy content, none of the girls got upset. It was all the guys. I was like, why are you so upset? Like, you've got so many more followers than me. Like, chill out.
Okay, we'll move on from this and we'll take it back to the beginning.
Okay.
What made you start making content?
So start making content was not the same as start collecting perfume. Those are two separate things. For me, starting making content was because I've had a big collection for quite a number of years. I never made any content, but I started going more onto TikTok and Instagram for my own research. Like I'm really into perfume. I had probably a couple of hundred perfumes at that point, and I was just really interested in what was coming out and what was new and what people thought. So I started watching TikToks, and then one day I was kind of like, I could probably make a TikTok. And the other reason is, which is besides the point really, is I have 3 kids. They're all getting older. 2 are in college, 1's at home. And I'm starting to get a bit kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I'm kind of bored and I'm at home a lot. So I started making little videos where I wasn't in the video. It would just be me like holding this saying, oh, this is my favorite vanilla. And nothing was working, right? Like, nobody was watching any of them. And my kids were like, if you ever put yourself on camera, that's it. Like, we will disown you. And I was kind of like, oh shit, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. And then one day I made a video with me in it, but I didn't speak. It was like one of those like sort of music in the background and me holding a bottle of perfume. And I got like 1,000 views. And at that point I was getting like 20 views. And I was like, oh my God, I've gone completely viral. Like, look at me. So I started putting myself in videos, and slowly I started building a following. And all I wanted was to get to 10,000 followers. I was like, if I get to 10,000 followers, I have made it. And I got to 10,000, it took me forever, probably 6 months or something to get to 10,000 followers. And then just slowly it took off. But that's how I started doing it. And that's why I started doing it. And yeah, basically.
How do you keep yourself from burning out?
You know, it's interesting you asked me that, because at the moment I'm struggling with some content ideas. Like, I feel like, how many top 10 videos can any of us do? Like, how many dupe videos can any of us do? Because the videos which I notice do well are things like top 10, or these are the cheap ones, these are the dupe ones, and a lot of ones which are driven towards the male audience, because I feel like there's a ton of guys watching this, more than girls actually. So I kind of have done a lot, and now I'm like, I'm struggling to find stuff that feels new and authentic and interesting. So I'm actually going to start doing some videos with other content creators. Like on Friday, I'm going to do some stuff with Sniff with Steph. And then I'm just going to start doing more, because I feel like I need to refresh. There's only, like I said, there's only so many times I can be like at number 10, you know. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to lie.
So what do you think makes a successful influencer?
Consistency. As far as like gaining followers and keeping followers, I think you just need to post consistently. I think that people want to see videos on a regular basis. I think being as authentic as you can, you know, calling out, even if it upsets people, saying things like, I don't think that Kayali is great. Like, saying things like that actually engages followers, because there's a lot of people out there who are like, I'm just using Kayali as an example. I think Kayali has a bit of a cult following, and sometimes, you know, when you say something against the cult following, people get upset. But then there are a lot of people who are like, I don't like Kayali either. I think they're fine, but thank you for saying that. Yeah. Now I've forgotten your question. What was your question? I just totally went off on a tangent, and I'm like, wait, what did he say?
What makes a successful influencer?
Oh, so I think like being honest and being authentic and saying things that, you know, are personal to you, as opposed to just saying what everybody else is saying. I think that makes you successful sometimes. Sometimes it can like hurt you. But content and posting often, trying to keep like a consistency within the type of content that you're producing. Like, not all of a sudden going off on like a tangent with like, you know, fashion. Like, I really try to stay close to fragrance, so that people know when they come to my live or they watch my video that they're going to get what it is they came to see. Yeah, I don't know. I think the most important thing though is probably trying to be as authentic as you can and as honest as you can.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
Right now we're kind of lacking. I feel like a lot of people they're kind of looking at fragrance influencers like everyone says the same thing. Who's really telling the truth?
Yeah. And the thing is, though, it's all relative because what my truth is might be different to yours or might be different to somebody else's. But you can tell when, like I said, the guy who was like, this is the same as Symphony, but he's not holding Symphony, but he's probably seen 10 videos of people saying it's the same. So that, like, to me, that doesn't feel authentic. If you don't know the perfume, don't make a comparison. You know, just say you've heard, but don't state a fact. So I do think that there's so many perfume content creators as well. It's funny. Every day I try to follow at least 2 or 3 who are like new and upcoming to be supportive, but also because I'm really interested to see what other people are putting out there. And it's incredible how many people are focusing on fragrance at the moment.
It's a growing niche.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you find it hard to be truthful about fragrance reviews when the fragrance is a gift?
If it's a gift, no. Meaning if somebody sends me, like, for example, Coty sent me about 6 of their fragrances. There's 2 ways I will go around that. If I don't like fragrances, I just don't review them. And if they ask to send them to me, I will say to them at the time, please send them. If I don't like them, I have a better way of phrasing it. If I don't enjoy your fragrances, I probably won't review them. Because I don't want to give a bad review. Because I don't think that's fair either. They're just reaching out. They're trying to get, their fragrance known in the community too. And not everybody likes everybody's fragrances. But if I am being offered money to promote a fragrance, that's different. But I've kind of found a way around that. So if I'm being paid to make a video on a specific perfume, and let's say it's not a fragrance that I would necessarily wear, I just say that. I'll be like, I'm using this as an example, but I'll be like, I'm not a big fan of lavender. It's not one of my favorite notes in fragrances. However, if you love lavender, you might love this perfume. So I'm kind of finding a way of being truthful, but also promoting the perfume at the same time. But if a fragrance comes my way and I really don't like it, and I have a few of those, especially some of these like really crazy Middle Eastern ones, I just don't review them. And that's how I kind of got into doing giveaways. I just started giving them away. So, yeah.
We like that. We like to hear that.
Yeah, my giveaways are pretty good, I have to say.
When was the last time you were truly blown away by a fragrance?
Oh, I've had a few this year. A few. My favorite release of 2025 has become one of my favorite perfumes. I actually have it here. Let me go grab it for you. There's nothing groundbreaking about this perfume, but it's everything I love about perfume. So Printemps Blanc from Maison Mataha, I'm obsessed. And this is new. This came out, I want to say, in like March or something. Other perfumes that came out this year that I genuinely love, what's it called? Alto, Astral, whatever it is, the one from Byredo. Do I have it? And the new Belle d'Afrique from Byredo. Those have blown me away. I really like them. And I didn't really like Belle d'Afrique before, so that's saying something. Which others have come out that I'm like blown away? I'm trying to think. I did a video on this actually on my phone. Oh no, that's not even new. I got sent a bunch of fragrances which are not new. So, they kind of blew me away, but they're not new fragrances. Oh gosh, what else? It'll come to me as soon as I'm answering the next question. But, this one. This one is not a new fragrance, but I'm obsessed with it. It's from a brand called Myth, which is based out of Thailand. It's called Mellow Musks. It is a beautiful floral milk perfume. I love that one. And I'm not crazy about milk perfumes often. I find them a bit weird, to be honest. Yeah, but there are others. I just can't think of them. Yeah. They'll come to me though, hopefully.
Now, for the people that don't know, you were a model in your life.
Yes, in my
Has
life.
modeling prepared you at all for becoming an influencer?
Not necessarily modeling, so I started modeling when I was about 16 and I was in Paris until I was about probably 22. So during that period of time, all I did was model. I didn't do anything else. But when I moved to New York, I started doing stuff like Sports Illustrated swimsuit. And back then in like the late 90s, early 2000s, around that time, if you were in Sports Illustrated swimsuit, you were like a celebrity. Like you automatically, it would be like Michelle Behennah, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. It was a huge deal back then. So I started doing TV stuff. Like I was doing stuff for MTV, I was doing stuff for the Style Network, I was doing stuff for E! Entertainment, all pertaining to like fashion, but yeah, I was doing like backstage stuff at Fashion Week and stuff. So that really helped me, just as far as like kind of knowing camera stuff a little bit, but and I think modeling just in general, just kind of knowing your face and knowing good lighting and things like that. But definitely the television stuff, that really helped.
Okay. And you kind of answered this already, but do you consume fragrance content?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, tons. And like I said, I really like to see, I watch a lot of like newer influencers, especially like younger people, because I'm older, like I'm going to be 50 in a couple of years. So I definitely like, there's not many in my age group. So there's not many people for me to like peers from, everyone is younger than me. So I definitely watch, especially like, I try to watch a lot of the girls, and I love the guys' content too, but I just feel like the guys get so much more hype. And it's funny because when I just did this promotion for Selena Gomez for Rare Beauty, and she chose 4 of us to like come and interview her. So I was one of the 4 that got to interview her, and I was so blessed and I was so appreciative. But when I went to the party that she hosted for all of the influencers, there were no guys. And I was like, that's so interesting that she didn't have I mean, I think Paul Reacts was there, but overall, none of those guys that you typically see were there. And I was kind of like, that is so cool because there's a lot of, I feel like the girls in perfume content kind of get forgotten a little bit because the guys are so loud, you know, and they're so kind of out there and they do stuff together. And I remember saying to a bunch of the girls who were there, like Sniff with Steph and Caroline Stern, I was like, how come the girls don't get together and do all that stuff that the guys do? You know, how the guys are doing like question and answer stuff. And yeah, no, I definitely consume, but I've tried to be as supportive as I can of the women group because I think the men have plenty of attention.
It's interesting you say that because like I personally, I like the women's side of Frag Talk more because I feel like they talk about fragrances that they actually like versus like the men who just talk about fragrances that they feel like other people like on you.
Yes.
And so I guess that's interesting that you say that men get more attention than women do.
I think people trust the guys more in some ways because I think the guys really target what people want to hear. So what I've noticed with my content or when I'm doing a live, for example, is a lot of guys will be like, what perfumes will women like on me? What perfumes are women going to think are sexy? What should I wear on a date? What's a panty dropper? Like the girls never ask you these kind of questions. The guys are very specific about not even what they like, but what are other people going to like on me? And I think that the male influencers do a very good job of explaining that. Like, you know, like this is a perfume that's going to project like crazy and the girls are going to think you're so hot and they're going to think you're so loaded and they probably think you're driving a Ferrari if you're wearing this perfume. The girls don't do that. The girls are way more sort of, it's more how you feel. Like, oh, this makes me feel a certain way. And I'm not saying that the guys' content isn't good. I love it just as much as I like watching the girls' content. But it is very different. And it's amazing how much more viral a lot of the guys' videos go because of the way that they talk about fragrance. It's just different styles, I think.
And since we're talking about creators, who are some of your favorite creators?
Oh, so I love Caroline Stern. She's the one that kind of got me into. She was the one that I was following the most sort of religiously. Love Caroline Stern. She doesn't just do perfume, but I would say she's like 90% of her content is on fragrance. Sniff with Steph, like I said, I love her. From the guys, I love Scenttakes. He's based out of the UK and he's just awesome. He just has like a really good energy. I like, is it Jay Smells? He's also out of the UK. I think that's where his tag is, Jay Smells. Cal Cologne, I have a ton of respect for just because I think not only is his content great, it's beautifully produced. Like he's always had a very good camera and his studio setup is just really well done. And I really appreciate what he does. I'm trying to think. I know that there's others. Fumi, I think is really entertaining. I love how Fumi can be like all about perfume and then completely go in like a tangent and like talk about something totally different in the middle of a video. Daniel Benet is interesting to me. Like I think he's very provocative and I appreciate his content. I don't think he's for everybody necessarily. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, what's the other guy? There's another British guy I really like. Scenttakes and Jason. Oh, TJ. I love TJ. He's just such a happy person, and he just has such a lovely demeanor about him. He never says anything bad about anything or anyone, ever. He's just really sweet, I think.
In addition to fragrance content, what else is on your For You page?
I at the moment, Dad's getting puppies as surprises. Literally, Dad's been given, and I cry every single time. And there's no reason for this. I have not bought a puppy. My husband doesn't want a puppy. There's none of that. I always get the people in like the army coming home to surprise their families, like early. I get lots of those.
It all sounds very hope core.
It is hopeful. It's wholesome. I get a lot of stuff that makes me really emotional. I have to be careful with the For You stuff, because if it makes me sad, then I don't like stuff with like animals or anything where. I get lots of mystery stuff, like Dateline stuff. Like so and so was walking down a road at 11 o'clock at night. She was never seen again, and then I'm like, oh, drawn into it. But no, loads of puppy stuff.
And how do you balance showing off fresh new fragrances without showing off overconsumption? And do you think overconsumption is something that we as fragrance influencers should be mindful about?
Do you mean telling people to buy? What do you mean by that? Like suggesting that people just keep buying and buying and buying, as opposed to just finding something that you really love and sticking to? Is that what you mean? It's hard to say that I don't promote overconsumption when I have so many perfumes. It would be kind of like, you should only buy 1 or 2 fragrances, but meanwhile here I'm in front of like 500 perfumes. I'm always mindful, like whenever I'm on a live and someone says, oh, what should I wear for my first day of school? Or what should I wear for date night? I always try to give people options, and I always ask, like, how much money do you want to spend? Like, I can give you a range from $20 to $600. So that's why I do so many videos on like, if you like this, you should try this. This is a cheaper alternative. I try to give people the option, because when I do a video on niche fragrances, I'll get half a dozen people saying, why are you only promoting $300 fragrances? And then when I do a video on like cheap fragrances, they're like, but what is the niche alternative? And I'm kind of like, oh my God, I just try to kind of do as much as I can to show all different aspects of what you can buy, what, different price ranges. It's hard. Again, I can't tell people not to go out and buy a fragrance when I've got all of this behind me, but I can definitely give people options as far as like, you don't need to spend all that money on a fragrance. This one's just as good and it's half the price. I try to do that as much as I can.
Okay. How many wears does it take for you to form a solid opinion about a fragrance?
How many times do I have to wear it before it becomes like...
Before you have like a solid opinion about it?
Well, if I get tested, like for example, the Scent Split, I collaborate with Scent Split a lot. So they send me a lot of fragrance. They sent me all these samples like last week. So I can go through 50 samples in a day and narrow it down to like, out of the 50 down to 25 and eliminate 25. And then I start getting down to like, okay, which of these do I really want a full bottle of? And so I keep narrowing it down by smelling them every single day. As far as how do I get from like 70 down to a full bottle or 3 or 4 full bottles? I've been smelling them probably over the course of a week, and like every single day I'm narrowing it down. It's kind of like Love Island with perfume, until eventually I get it down to about 4 or 5. And it's always interesting to me, because when I get to that kind of like 10 to 0 part, I'm always like, God, how can I choose? I like all of them. And then the next day I'll try one again and I've got, you know what? No, it's too this or it's too that. And quite often I can get it down to like 2 or 3. And then I'll buy 2 or 3 perfumes. But I would say I have to smell it at least 6 times before I'm sure. Unless it's like an instant love. I have had in my life a few times where I've smelled a perfume and it was just immediate. And I didn't have to try it ever again, and I bought it. Like Printemps Blanc, that was like one of those perfumes, for sure.
Now, conversely, have you cast an opinion on a fragrance like you're like, oh, I hate this, and then you came back and you're like, actually, I like this?
Yeah, I just made a video on that, and I'm getting so much hate for that too. Honestly, you can't fucking win. I'm sorry to swear. But the other day, well, to be honest, that's not exactly what went down. There was a fragrance which I didn't think I was going to like, so I opened the tester of it. I have since found out that the tester was not the perfume, which is why I didn't like it, but I didn't know that at the time. Sometimes I'll get a perfume. sometimes this will happen to me. Like a year ago, all I wanted was gourmand fragrances. I wanted to smell like a birthday cake all the time, and the stronger, the better. And then I kind of started changing my mind, started getting more into florals, and then I got really into musk fragrances, and then I wanted skin scents, and then I went into leathers and masculine. And now I look back and there are fragrances that I'm like, I can't believe I wore that all the time. But I remember back then, I would never have picked up a white floral a year ago and liked it. I would have been like, this smells like my grandma. No offense to my grandma, but just meaning it was felt so vintagey. So I go through phases during the year where I get drawn into certain like note profiles that I'm really into. I have had perfumes that I thought I liked that I've gone off completely. Like people are going to get upset. Every time I say this, people get really mad at me, but I liked vanilla powder when it came out. I was so like drawn into like the hype around it. I can't stand that perfume now. I mean, I have it on my shelf and every so often I go and smell it again just to see. I'm like, maybe now I like it again, and I don't. And there's other perfumes. Like I said, some of those gourmand fragrances that really smell strong of like cake and caramel and toffee and stuff. And I can't. But as far as perfumes that I didn't like, yes, like fragrances like Rouge Malachite and Vert Malachite and Martha, like Orange Blossom. I didn't like that kind of thing before, and now I love them. So, yeah.
Now, with your interest in fragrance, I know your family likes fragrance. Is there anyone outside of your family that, because you like fragrance, they started to like, experience fragrance differently?
Well, I have some like mum friends who are now really into perfume who follow me and ask not to this extent, but definitely who are kind of like, God, I didn't even know there were so many perfumes out there. And now like they go to like Bloomingdale's and they try fragrances. But nobody who I think I've had such a profound effect on that they've started making content or anything, who I know personally. Not that I know, but I tell you, my kids, they're really into it now. They won't admit it, but they're really into it now. Like they have small collections.
So they weren't into it before?
Not to this extent. I mean, my daughter always had perfumes, but I think most teenage girls do. But now she has like a collection. Like my younger son, he's the one with the most actually. He probably has about 30 or 40 perfumes. And he's very specific about what he likes. Like I bought him La Mentite and he's like, I don't like it. And I was like, on top of it, I would have resold it had I not had the bottle engraved with his name on it. He's like, I don't like this. And I was like, he's very specific. But no, they're into perfume. They love it actually. My husband too.
Do they all have like specific tastes? Like one likes fresh, one likes sweet?
My older son likes really powerful perfumes, like very intense, like those Frederic Malle perfumes like Promises and the Moon, like really, he loves that. He likes stuff like Oud Cadenza and Oud Maracuja, like very strong. I wouldn't necessarily say super masculine, but definitely powerful. My daughter, she's not into very sweet perfumes. Like her signature scent is Te Matcha from Le Labo. She likes more earthy, slightly sweetened, not overly strong, almost like more of a skin scent type of thing. And then my younger son, he's kind of all over the place, but he's interesting. Like he loves things like Belle d'Afrique and Pacific Rock Flower and Altair, like more mainstream, but not every single, it's weird. He's weird. He always surprises me. Like he came back the other day. What did he buy? You know what he bought? He goes to Bloomingdale's and I was kind of shocked because he spent a lot of money. He bought Lust in Paradise from Ex Nihilo, which I think of as a very feminine leaning fragrance. And he was like, oh, I didn't even think it, and I didn't say that to him because I don't want to like piss him off or anything, but I was like, it's got peony and lychee and like, it's a very fresh, girly perfume. And when he wears it, it smells so different on him as well. So he's all over the place. Like he kind of mixes it all up, but he's very specific. Oh, Jessica.
Mm-hmm. Someone said, is there anything your whole family enjoys?
I'm trying to think. Me, my husband, and my older son, we love Oud Maracuja, but my younger son doesn't. The one that we all there's one, I think we all appreciate all of them. I would say the one that we all have, except for my daughter, but I know she likes it, is Vanille Antique from Byredo. That is sort of universally liked. Vanille Antique is pretty, I would say that's a solid. Do you like that one too?
My favorite Byredo.
Oh, it's so good. It's like, it's hard not to like it, to be honest. It's such a lovely perfume. Yeah, yeah. Altair as well. Everybody likes Altair.
Is there a limit of bottles that you won't go past?
Is there a what?
Is there a limit of bottles that you won't go past?
Me? Uh, God. I mean, I guess when I just like burst at the seams out of here. I mean, I have more perfume in front of me as well. It's funny you asked me that, because actually today I was thinking, what am I going to do when I just don't have space anymore? Because I never do a giveaway with a bottle that's already out of its plastic. Like, I'm not going to start giving away bottles like this. To me, I mean, I'll give them to people, but I don't do giveaways with them. So I'm trying to be a bit better about saying yes to everybody when they say, can we send you perfumes and you can review them for free? I'm like, I do those roundup videos, and that just kind of feels a little redundant and a little bit disrespectful to the brands. But at the same time, when you get to like 300,000 followers, they really should pay you to promote a video. I mean, it's like when I was modeling, like I wasn't doing it for free, you know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes I say yes because in my mind, I'm thinking I'll do a roundup video with these perfumes, and then I'll do a roundup video, and it just feels very like, they could be sending me a $300 bottle of perfume. And I'm like, yeah, this one kind of smells of like mint. It's nice. And I put it down, and I feel like that's kind of, I'm always conflicted. So in answer to your question, I'm trying to be better about saying yes to every single person who says, can I send you a fragrance? Because I don't want it just sitting on the shelf. And if I don't like it, I don't know what to do with it. So there's not a limit though. They can keep sending them.
Is there a fragrance that you can't describe?
Oh gosh, I'm sure. I can't think of which one it is. Well, there's some perfumes that you can't describe because of the word. Like, for example, I'll show you this one. I got banned for like 3 days on TikTok because I said the name of this one. It's something that you yeah. So stuff like that you can't. But as far as like I just can't find the words. Yes, probably. I just can't think of which one it is. I can't think of one specifically. But sometimes I'm really struggling. Definitely.
Is there a note that you think is very hard to capture in terms of like fragrances? Like no one does it right for you.
I wouldn't say no one does it right, but there is a couple of notes that I feel can go bad for me. Peach is one of them. I think that peach can very quickly start smelling like a gummy worm. Like it can smell very synthetic to me. So is strawberry. I'm not saying that nobody's done it right, for sure. Like I think Peshwadol is absolutely beautiful, and Peach's Revenge is beautiful, and Spiky Muse is a great strawberry. But overall, if I see that note, I'm always a little bit wary of some of the fruitier notes, that they can start smelling like candy, but not in a good way, and they can start being quite synthetic. And then there's notes which are ridiculous. That I don't know, like the smell of snow and like a tire track or whatever it is. And I'm kind of like, wait, I don't even know if it's good or not because I've never smelt it before. You know.
What's something we don't know about the behind the scenes a larger creator like yourself goes through?
Coming up with content. Thinking about new ways to be excited, not just about the content itself, but finding things about perfume which are still exciting and we want to talk about. I think coming up with content is one of the things that I find quite hard on a day-to-day basis, because I try to create content every single day. And if I'm going away on holiday, I try to create content in advance so that I have stuff to post so that I don't have to think about it. I think coming up with content, I think staying clear of the comments. Sometimes, I mean, I don't get a lot of hate. I don't think I'm somebody that's like super provocative and I talk about perfume. It's not like I'm getting into like religion or war or stuff like that. But sometimes like people will come after me about, so like I'll make a video that today, let's say I make a video on my top 10 favorite vanillas, and maybe one is not in that was in from the top 10 favorite vanillas last year, and then people go absolutely manic on you. And they're like, well, you said that you loved vanilla powder, and like obviously we can't trust you anymore. So stuff like that, it really, I take it very personally. So some of that's hard, but I would say overall the hardest thing for me is just coming up with new content that feels refreshing and interesting.
I don't think I've hit that stage yet, but
it's not all the time. Like sometimes I get into stuff, but then sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I can't do another like I said, top 10 fill in the blank video. So, yeah.
How do you see AI impacting the fragrance industry and frag talk?
Well, there was that one AI, right? There's been a few videos, there's a few accounts. I mean, I don't think it's going to be great for anybody, for any content creator in any niche. The only thing, I mean, even when you go on Fragrantica, they tell you when you're reading the reviews, or not the reviews, but when you're reading the descriptions, they tell you this has been generated by AI. And I'm always kind of like, well, how does AI know how something smells? I mean, I understand that they're just pulling information from all over the internet. I don't really know. I don't think it's going to be good, but I know that I use AI to help me sometimes when I'm doing, not necessarily with content, but when I'm doing some research, like I'll go into ChatGPT and I'll be like, what are the top 10 best selling women's fragrances right now? Like I'll use that and like, these are the top 10 and I'll make a video. I'll use that information. So I think it goes both ways. I don't think AI is going to be great for lots of things, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. AI is it's like a double-edged sword.
Do you think it's bad? Do you think there's any good in it at all, as far as perfume?
And for fragrance, I don't really understand like what AI can give fragrance. Um, I just don't like. I know there was a brand that's using AI to make fragrance,
Yes.
and people were very like divided about that. And I feel like when you add AI to something creative, it kind of strips away the fun of like trying things out, figuring out if it works, rather than just getting something that you just put in and it just spits out something perfect for you. Like
Yeah,
I feel like that kind of like strips away the fun of creating.
I agree. I agree. But I feel like it's for that, like in everything, like in movies, I mean, I guess the one thing that AI can't do is cook, right? They can't make food. So I think that things like cooking are going to become bigger on TikTok because that's something that you can't, and you don't have a robot in your house. Like, yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because I believe in moving forward and technology is a good thing. And I'm not, AI and like medicine and all of those things are incredible. So you can't choose like, well, I don't want it for this, but I want it for that. But I do think we need to be careful, and keep our eye on it.
Do you think signature scents are still relevant?
100%. Yes. I am envious of people. I mean, that sounds a little exaggerated, but I'm so happy. I'm a little bit envious of people who have a signature scent. That is the perfume that defines them. Like that perfume, whenever that person walks in and you smell it, you're like, oh, so and so's here, because they have that smell about them. I think that's really cool. I don't have a signature scent because I have so many perfumes, but there are certain perfumes that I wear more that I feel are sort of my personality. But yeah, I think signature scents are amazing. I don't think it's good for the fragrance community to have too many signature scent wearing people, because then people are buying one perfume. They're probably buying a new bottle every 2 years. So for perfume people, that's not helping. But I loved it. I think it's romantic. I think it's amazing, actually.
What are some fragrance brands that you think are criminally underrated?
Underrated. Panadora, Pantheon Roma. Let me show you a Panadora bottle. They look a little bit like Penhaligon's, but the perfumes are better. So these are Panadora bottles. I think they're stunning. They're not perfumes for everybody, but nobody talks about them. So I think that that's one that's underrated. Another company that I think is underrated but is very well established, just not a lot of people are talking, is Pantheon Roma. They're from Italy. They do incredible gourmand fragrances. And wait, there's another one. When you said that, I was like, oh, don't let me forget. Those two, what was another one? It'll come to me. Yeah, definitely those two. And Les Eaux Primordiales. Here, I'll show you. This brand is absolutely incredible. Les Eaux Primordiales. I don't know where you can buy this. I know that a lot of people have samples now, but when they first came out, you couldn't even buy it. You had to buy it in Europe. Anyway, gorgeous perfumes. Yeah.
And our last and final question, advice to people who want to reach your level.
What would I tell them? To help them, post consistently, even if you're having a day where you're like, I'm not saying you have to post every day, but you need to post, I would say, 4 to 5 times a week. Keep to your niche. Don't try to, like, if you want people to follow you for something that you're doing, make sure you're doing it. So stay with perfume. Don't branch off into making snacks and how you walk your dog. And, I mean, you can stay in the beauty world, but really stay, at least until you get to a certain amount of followers, stay really true to what you do and post regularly. Try to stay authentic. Try to be presentable. I mean, I sometimes see some people and I'm kind of like, could you have like brushed your hair? Like, I'm not saying that it matters, but I feel like if you're promoting like a very beautiful, expensive anything, just try to like, put your best foot forward. I think that's important. I tell that to my kids too, in general. But I think the most important thing is really staying true to what it is you're telling people your niche is. And then another thing, this is more sort of specific. When you're actually posting videos, make sure you answer comments reasonably soon after you've posted. Don't wait till a week later and then come back and start answering people because they're not going to see. And then also, this is something I learned, which I actually think really does work. Let's say I did a video on Bianco Latte and I post a video of Bianco Latte. Immediately afterwards, I will look at other Bianco Latte videos and I will comment on them. And for whatever reason, I don't know how, somebody told me to do this, it really does kind of generate, helps your video. If you're looking at Bianco Latte, you posted about Bianco Latte, you're asking questions on other people's videos, and also follow other people in your niche. Make sure you're following content creators who do fashion or whatever it is you're doing. Follow them, engage with them, ask them questions. And even another thing that I used to do, which I always felt a bit bad about, but I don't, people do it to me too as well, is I'll go on like big content creators pages. Like when I had like 10,000 followers, and let's say I would go on like Caroline Stern's page, I would answer questions that people were asking her that she hadn't answered. Like I'd go back to her old videos, and then those people would be like, "Oh, you seem to know what you're talking about," so they start following me. And I think it's okay to do stuff like that. I mean, people do that on my page too. I mean, there's always conversations, going on. So it's all about engagement, and it's about being predictable, and it's about trying to do. Your content doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be like amazing every single time, but you do have to post something. Because otherwise people get bored and they'll just find somebody else, the next, So those things definitely do help. Can I just tell you about some of the brands that I think are a bit overrated? Because you asked me the ones which I think are underrated. And I will say, and people think I have a bit of a beef with Kayali, but I will say, like, there are some brands, Kayali is one of them, I find Le Labo is kind of one of them too, that I feel have got so much buzz around them just because they gift like crazy. They gift. Everybody's talking about them. And I'm not saying Kayali specifically, but that is definitely one. Le Labo, they don't gift that much because there's kind of hype around certain brands. And I'm not saying they're not good. I just think that there are certain brands which are very overrated. Just like there are some brands which are underrated. And so that's why I don't go out of my way. People are like, how come you never talk about Le Labo? How come you're always giving away Kayali perfumes? And I'm like, because you guys seem to like them more than I do. You love them. Even Louis Vuitton, and this is not bashing Louis Vuitton. I have some fragrances from Louis Vuitton that I absolutely love. But there's so much chat about Louis Vuitton fragrances, and I'm like, they're nice. They're really nice. But like, there's other things to talk about except for Louis Vuitton imagination, So yeah, just be careful. If you see every single content creator and their mother talking about one fragrance all within 1 week, that doesn't mean that that fragrance is absolutely amazing. It means that that company sent perfume to everybody. That's what it means. And yes, sometimes it is great perfume and it should be built up. But sometimes it's just about quantity. It's marketing, So just be aware of that. Just know, like, people are making money. This is, a lot of people, this is their bread and butter, and I'm totally, I understand that 100%. But just because you see it a lot, it doesn't mean that it's good. That's kind of what I'm saying.
I agree. I 100% agree. I just I made my video about Outlands. I think Outlands is it's fine, but it was just interesting to me that in the span of like 2 weeks, it went from no one cared to everybody cared.
It's like
And
the best perfume. But you know what's going to happen with Outland? Mark my words. I bet you within the next month there is a dupe. And I bet you the people who've been talking about Outland are going to be the first ones to review it. And next thing you see, it'll be like, oh, and guess what? If you love Outlands, you can buy this. And the link's in my bio, by the way. And you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, yeah, you'll see that. It's once you start seeing those patterns, it's kind of dark. Do you know what I mean? Oh, okay. I see. It's like whenever people start hyping up Meteor, that's another one. I bet you there's a dupe coming out of Meteor. All of a sudden, like, oh, Meteor is the most underrated Louis Vuitton perfume. Everybody should try Meteor. Nobody's even talking about Meteor, right? I mean, I like Meteor. I have nothing against Meteor, but nobody talks about it. All of a sudden, everyone's talking about Meteor. I guarantee you that there is a Meteor dupe coming out any second. It'll be called like Shooting Star, and we'll all be buying it and talking about it. So pay attention when there's a perfume that gets a lot of hype, that's very expensive. 5 minutes later, you can buy it on Joma Shop for $35. Here's my link.
I said the same. When I first saw them say that about Outlands, I was like, there's a dupe coming. There has to be a dupe coming. There's no way that...
And the people who are making the dupe are really smart, because it is a really interesting way of selling you something before you've even known it exists. Because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I really want to try Outland, but oh my God, it's $500. And you know, most people aren't spending that kind of money on a fragrance. And I actually do like Outland, so I don't want to say anything bad about Outlands. I think it's good. But then you start putting in people's head that this is the best perfume, and then they want to buy it, and then they're like, but I have an alternative for you here, you know. There's actually nothing wrong with it. It's just interesting to me when I see the pattern. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And then Cal came in my live one time, and he was saying that the dupe companies, they're watching the videos and they're watching for what goes viral, and then as soon as something goes viral, they're like on it and they're making it right away.
Oh yeah, and I don't blame them, because that's the supply and demand, right? That's what people want, then you should go make it for them. Yeah, I don't blame them at all, especially with the Louis Vuitton, because as I said, as much as I love Louis Vuitton perfumes, and I genuinely do, they are massively overpriced for what you're getting. The longevity is not great. The projection's good. Some of the scents I think are incredible, but some of them are just, you know, fine. But they're almost $500 a bottle. So it's very smart to dupe those fragrances. And they're probably not hard to dupe. You know, they're not super sophisticated. Although I have noticed with Louis Vuitton that they don't always post all the notes. Like, I don't think Symphony is 3 notes. I'm sure there's other notes in Symphony that just don't tell you. But no, it makes sense. It totally makes sense to me that they would dupe everything, you know?
Well, thank you.
It was so nice chatting with you. Thank you so much for having me on your live. I really appreciate it. That was really, really fun. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. I don't know if you want to answer questions.
Yeah, let me see.
I've
Yeah,
completely-
see, becoming ABBA. I wish dupe for it come. Yeah, like, so I made a video and I was like, this is like the 100th Louis Vuitton fragrance I'm doing a schmoop video of. And I was like, how come these people aren't doing a dupe of Byredo or Diptyque or Ella K or someone that's like makes really, and it's because they're not as popular. And the reason they're not as popular is because not as many people are talking about them on social media. It's not because they're not as good. I mean, I get Louis Vuitton is a huge brand. I mean, I'm using that as an example, but have you noticed there must be 10 versions of Pacific Chill? 10. And I'm like, but what about doing Carmina from Creed or something like that? You know, like that's a really popular brand too.
Ooh, I want to show you my bottle.
This is incredible. I saw you talking about this the other day. That is so beautiful. It's like an hourglass.
It's such a good brand.
What's the name?
Premier Poe.
Premier Poe. What is that musk therapy you have in the background, or Paragon, or what's
No,
that?
this is what we have.
Rehab. Oh, I just want a sample of Rehab. I've tried it before, but they sent me a sample today. It's quite a lot of lavender, hasn't it? Oh, here.
Yep.
What is your scent of? Oh, you told me already. What did you say your scent of the day was?
Mortal Skin.
Oh yeah. Rehab is really nice, actually. I do think it's got quite a lot of lavender, but I I like it. It's a good. I love Initio. I'm a massive fan of Initio. I just got Lift Me Up, which just came out. It's here. It's really nice. Not at all how it was going to smell. I thought it was going to be strong. It's actually quite a soft smell, but it's really pretty. It's a very nice tonka bean situation.
They want to know what's the most expensive fragrance in your collection.
The most expensive one in my collection is this one. It's also one of my favorites, which is why I bought it. Vanille Planifolia from Guerlain. It's just a beautiful, elegant, very strong, absolutely gorgeous vanilla. It's extremely expensive, but it's honestly one of my favorite perfumes. It's probably one of my strongest as well as my most expensive. Guidance is expensive too, but I think Guidance was almost 500. Oh, Symphony. Symphony probably the second most expensive. Have you? No, I have not seen the news about. Oh, Brioni. Yes, I have seen. There's one, a leather one. Anything that reminds us of Louis? No, I don't know that one. Which Louis Vuitton perfume is really worth the buy? What would you say? For me, I love Symphony and I love a Trap Rev. Those are my two favorites. And those are two that I like Afternoon Swim as well, actually. I like all of them. I do. It's hard to tell somebody to go spend that kind of money on a perfume that doesn't necessarily last more than like 3 hours.
I used to have Afternoon Swim and then I ended up selling it.
Did you? Because you didn't like it or you just weren't wearing it much?
Honestly, it was too strong.
Really? See, so many people say it doesn't last on them. I actually find it a really strong perfume too. It's not like beast mode on me, but it definitely lasts a good like 5 to 6 hours. Yeah, I like it. I love orange perfume. It didn't last on your skin. A lot of people say it doesn't last. I feel like it depends on your skin type or something, like your chemistry, because on me it really does last, but so many people say it doesn't.
I also bought it when it first came out, so maybe that plays a role.
Different formulation, maybe, or yeah, maybe it's not. Well, it should have macerated then, I guess. I have to say, I love Afternoon Swim. I bought it this summer. It's my newest addition to my Louis Vuitton collection. I have to say, I love it. Every time I wear it, I'm like, oh, I love this perfume. It's so good. It's beautiful.
How does a new niche brand get your attention?
Well, I go on Fragrantica every single day and I see all the new releases, and I also go on Scent Advice and I see all the new releases. So if there's something new on either of those, I don't necessarily zone in on whether or not it's a niche or not, but if I see a fragrance that looks interesting and then I'm like, oh, this is new, then I'll start researching, and sometimes I'll just reach out to them. Like there's a new perfume house, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's coming out of London. They're releasing a whole line of fragrances in September. And I saw them all lined up on Fragrantica, and I was like, these look really cool. So I just sent them a message and I said, listen, I'd love you to send me the discovery set. And they were so happy to. They're sending it to me. So that's how, I go on Lucky Scent, I go on Scent Split every single day. I'm always looking. It would be hard if I didn't notice a new niche fragrance house. And quite often I will just reach out to them. Because I don't want to sound like I'm being like such a good person or anything, but like I genuinely do want to help. If there's a new house and they're releasing, like Binaural, that's a reasonably new house. They don't have any money. They're just starting out. And I'm not going to be like, oh, you have to pay me to promote your, I like their perfume. So I'll make a video and I'll let them use it for like 30 days. I think that's the least I can do. So I do, that's how I find them and that's how I try to help. Unless it's like terrible. If it's terrible, I'm not, but there's so many new cool houses. And then Scent Split, I have an affiliate deal with Scent Split. So they always let me know new houses that they're going to start selling. They'll be like, in the next 6 months, we're going to start promoting these 3 brands. They're brand new. This one's from like China. This one's from Thailand. This one's from whatever. And then they'll send me a bunch of samples. So I also kind of get like notified as well. But I love finding new fragrance houses. I think it's awesome. I'm so sick to death of like the new Maison Francis Cote de Jean. Like, it's cool when people come out with new stuff. So, yeah.
Do you have a favorite bottle design?
I have to say, I absolutely love, and I've said this a million times, I'm going to get them out. I love my Dries Van Noten. I love these perfume bottles. I just think that they are some of the perfumes from Dries Van Noten. I don't even like the perfume. I bought them just like this one. I don't really like the perfume all that much, but I love the bottles so much. I think overall, Dries Van Noten is my favorite. I mean, they're gorgeous. Like next to each other, they're so beautiful. So I think those are my all-time favorites. What about you? Which are your favorite bottles?
I have to give it to Premier Poe. I just think that this is so,
Yeah,
it's just so
those
cool.
are so cool. Where do you buy those? Where did you get it?
You have to go through their website. They're based in Paris. I found this brand like how you find yours. I was looking on Scent Advice one day, and I just saw the bottle, and I was like, "That's an interesting bottle." And so I ended up getting the Discovery set,
Mhm.
and then I got a bottle.
Oh, it's beautiful. So beautiful. Listen, Deb, I have to go. I just saw the time. It's almost 4 o'clock here. It was so lovely chatting. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for choosing me for your first ever interview. And let me
Thank
know
you.
when you do another one, and I'll join and I'll be asking them questions.
Of course.
Oh, lovely chatting to you guys. Talk to you all really soon.
Thank you.
Bye.